Here's another thing you should want to take a video.
Yep, gotcha.
Can you sit here for me, please? Alright, so this is going to go on the left side of his spine.
Okay.
Okay, and it's going to be near the scapula. Now you take this thing off the plastic, but when you're done, you got to put it right back on.
Okay.
Alright, and there's like a remote that comes through. There's 2 units, and there's 2 remotes. I mean, there's 1 remote and 2 units. Don't worry about the remote, because it's kind of confusing how to use it. It's easier just to use the buttons on the thing. These have AAA batteries. It's nice because it's wireless. And this thing clicks in like this. Okay. And then we're going to put this always on the left side of his spine near his scapula. So his like shoulder blade, so like right here. Oops, I turned it off. Doesn't really matter which way you put it on. But the plus button turns it on, and the minus button will turn it off when it's on the first level. So you see the green light there? So now I'm going to go to a level that I feel like he's not uncomfortable, but it's strong, okay? So level 1. So you tell me when you feel like it's at a strong level for you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He seems like he's like going like 9 or 10.
So what does that thing do?
It's just a TENS unit, so it's just like it puts an electrical stimulation into the muscle tissue.
Okay.
So you could use it for like muscle rehab or sensory rehab. So we're really trying to just get to a sensory aspect, but it seems like we're kind of getting to a level that causes a little bit of muscle contraction, which sometimes you need to go to. I can tell you, if you put this on and went to 10, you'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
And he's just sitting there.
No, he doesn't mind it. Yeah, and that's very high.
Yeah.
So I would say, every day you're gonna have to kind of, see where he's going to with this. Because ideally he's gonna go to like 3, 4, 5, 6. Anywhere from like 3 to 6, I would say is the average.
Okay.
And that's good. So he really shouldn't be able to go to 10 without being uncomfortable like that. Because if I put this on you and went to 10, you'd be like, you'd probably smack me. Okay, so but that gives you a good idea of his like sensory response to things.
Right.
All right, and that, so this will be shipped to you. All right, so we'll figure that out. I'm sorry that we don't have those currently. Now this is called the Brain Driver. This comes with a headband. I'll just do this on myself so you guys can see. All right, so this comes with a headband. Let me just get one. Let's see. This is a clip. All right. And it kind of goes like this. It clips on like this, and then you can clip this on him. Now you're going to be putting the TENS unit, the Brain Driver, and these glasses, and an essential oil smell. So there's like technically 4 different like sensory things going on at the same time. And then if you have him on a vibe plate, it would be great. And you can also kind of like play like videos, or if you watch them. The only thing you have to be careful about is him doing something too repetitiously with a video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can try to, we have certain videos that we recommend that are more along the lines of like Planet Earth and National Geographic.
Yeah.
But our right hemisphere is very tied into our environment, which really the ultimate environment we come from is like nature and stuff. So like nature sounds and animals and wind. And so like all that stuff is technically
calming
better.
and not.
Yeah, because if you let him, he's gonna send himself into
right.
a manic episode with like the repetitiousness of videos. So you gotta be careful with the videos he watches.
Here, I'll sit with you.
But anyways, let me show you how this device works. I'm just gonna have to unravel this. Alright, so this plugs in the top here. Also, something to note about this. Something to note about this is you have to use saline solution. So you're gonna have to get like contact solution or something.
Okay.
That's what we recommend because it's sterile. Because if you try to make it at home, sometimes people mess up the ratio. But ideally, just like go to like a pharmacy and get like contact solution.
Okay.
And then you wet the pads, these sponges, But every time you use saline solution with a device, you have to wash it out, because if you don't, then like salt crystals start to form.
Okay.
And then if it's like too salty, he's gonna maybe even get like a rash or just gonna be
Oh, okay.
uncomfortable by it. So just make sure you wash it out with tap water and then you put it back in here, okay? Now these plug into the rubber like this. Okay. And then there's two areas that you would use this on. Now this thing has a timer on it, so this will help you kind of keep track of how long you'd use all these units for. So we have this, the TENS unit, the glasses, and they'll all start at like a 20-minute cycle. All right. Now the first area we'll put this is an inch above the outer edge of the eyebrow. Okay. An inch above the outer edge of the eyebrow, and like I said, this can like kind of go behind his head, and you can like clip it on or something like that. All right, and these would be wet with saline solution, okay? So now T is for time, so you could switch 20 or 30-minute time intervals. Again, he would just be kind of chilling during this time. So there's the time for the primitive reflexes, and then you do the exercise, and then you do the equipment. Don't mix them, you know what I mean? So don't have him doing exercise with equipment on, because
Okay.
you're kind of like mixing up two pathways.
Okay.
So we got 20 minutes and 30 minutes, and then 0.5, 1.5, and 2 milliamps. So you'll see that there's an intensity output and there's a timer. Let's start at 20, and you could try probably starting at like 1 milliamp with him.
Okay.
And then you press play, but the screen has to be blue. Let me just let it go like dark for a second. So if you press a button and nothing happens, that's because the screen was dark, so it has to be blue, and then you press play, and then the timer starts to go. We're at 20 minutes, 1 milliamp, so you got this on. We have the TENS unit on, and then one more thing I want to show you is the glasses. So then these blue glasses, you just really have to worry about hitting the left button. Oh, this is in the wrong eye field though. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna switch the eye field. This is something that can happen. Only when ideally we want the eye lights to be flashing on the left side of each eye. Right now they're flashing on the right side of each eye.
Okay.
And that's really because the left side of each eye is wired into your right occipital lobe. And the blue color is good for right hemisphere stimulation. So
Okay.
the glasses are good for right hemisphere stimulation. This red wire has to, the red, it's important to always be on the right side. Red is activating the right hemisphere and left is inhibiting. All right, so while they're flashing, if I press the right purple button, I can switch the way that the lights are flashing. Left turns it off and on. When it's flashing, I can use this to change where the lights are flashing. But we don't really need to do anything other than just leave it in the left eye field. Now that it's there, if I turn it off or turn it on, it stays there. All right, so then he'd have these glasses on, he'd have the TENS unit on his back, and he'd have these on, and you'd be running it for 20 minutes. There is a second spot that you can put this, and it would be, so you say you do, I mean, ideally we would recommend doing this twice a day too. So you can do this, once a day, but if you do it twice a day, you can get better results.
Are we doing all these things like in a row?
Yeah, the primitive reflexes, the exercise, and then this.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. 30 things, 3 stages, okay? And if you can do them twice in a day, it'd be great. Or at least doing the equipment twice a day and really, but all the things that all the results that you see are going to be depending on how frequent and, intense you do it. So you have to start out pretty intense with them.
Yeah.
Again, the red's on the right. Now there's an inch above and behind the ear. All right, and these two areas are really correlated with like spatial awareness and like nonverbal language.
Okay.
So these are two areas that would be very good for him. All right, so now the timer will keep track. You're gonna eventually want to start to increase the time of all this stuff. So after like the first 2 weeks, maybe bump it up to like, the 30-minute timer and keep all that stuff on. And if he gets to a point where he's like watching, and that's another thing about like the shows, like having like Planet Earth, this sort of thing, it's like anywhere from like 45 minutes to like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be like the best for him, is to just have that equipment on for like an hour, getting a lot of right hemisphere stimulation. And so we're trying to activate the brain to connect to the body, and then we're trying to get the body to connect to the brain. So this is like, it's about connecting him to himself. And the book will help you really understand a lot of the reasons as to why and how that works. But it's kind of hard, when you look at somebody, it's kind of hard to imagine that kind of like concept of being disconnected like
For
this.
sure.
But these things kind of help. And it's fun to try them on each other. Like you should try these on each other.
Okay.
And see like what you go to, and then like compare it to him and be like, whoa, like you
Yeah.
can go that high with this stuff, like that's big.
Yeah.
And then that kind of helps you understand.
So like those things on his head, can you feel
Yeah,
something?
you can feel it when you go up. That's why I'm saying start at 1. At 1, if 0.5 and 1 is really like nothing,
Yeah.
and then when you get to 0.5 and 2, it can be a little intense.
Okay.
Again, I would say, try them on. But if you don't wash them out with tap water, they get more intense because technically the salt
Oh,
makes
yeah.
them like more conductive. But basically what that's doing is it's getting through the skull and like cellularly activating the cells.
Okay.
So, you definitely feel it a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. All right. I think there's like maybe a couple things in the sheet.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Why are you so mad?
So there's a couple vitamins in here. I don't know how he is about taking supplements. Is he okay with
He can
taking?
swallow a pill
Ew!
like nothing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so pre and probiotics, just a very good strain, helps with absorption. And then these are just basically calming vitamins. So I
Okay.
don't know how many supplements he's currently on.
I think we only have on
Wait.
vitamin D right now.
Vitamin D
because-
and
Yeah,
lithium.
cool. Because we
Yeah.
really just recommend there is something called glutathione, which might be good.
Yeah,
He
he's
had that
taking it.
before.
It's good for detox. It's just like a spray. We have some up front if you want to look into it.
Mhm.
But these come with the kit. If you look into them, it's just like B vitamins and like GABA and CoQ10. Like they're all
Mhm.
like just like kind of considered.
Yeah.
Like, they're good for metabolic, cellular health, but also calming the
Yeah.
nervous system. Because technically he's in like a sympathetic state a lot.
Yeah.
We want him to calm down because that's probably what the left hemisphere does and why he might be like hyperactive or he might have a tough time, being in a restful state.
Yeah.
So that's basically what the program's trying to do. So all the things that we want to look for is trying to help calm him down and not have to require such like high levels of repetitious stuff or OCD or hyperactivity. So that's what we want to see with him. So these vitamins, they just kind of assist with that.
Now, do we have to like reorder those?
What? Yeah, it's like on the website. And
Okay.
stuff.
All right.
Yeah, and I would do that. Yeah, and I would do one of each of those twice a day.
One each twice a day. Okay.
So that would be like the pre and probiotic, and then the vitamin maybe at like breakfast, and then the pre and probiotic and the vitamin at like lunch or something.
Okay.
But don't do it too close to bedtime.
Don't do it close to bed. I was gonna say he won't take anything in school. We might have to do it like right after school
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
Yeah, you can do it after school. It's just be aware, like with sometimes with B vitamins, it like kind of gives you energy, so
Oh, okay.
affect the way he's like. And the smell, you just want to start playing around with smells. I would say, this is peppermint. Peppermint is good
Yeah.
for the right hemisphere, and you'd kind of put it on its right collar and a little bit maybe on the right nostril. If you put too much, he's gonna be
I
like,
was gonna say
my
he's
eyes.
gonna. Yeah, that's gonna be tough because he.
Just put it like on his right collar, just so it's fumigating more
Yeah.
to his right nostril technically.
Okay.
But I would start to play around with smells because it sounds like, he has smell and he's
Mhm.
aware of smell, but I feel like he can maybe work on it.
Yeah.
More. All right, and that's pretty much it. And then I think you're gonna go and talk to Dr. Molo and just kind of go through everything again quickly. And